Cloven tongues. I'll probably make another video about this, but for now, this is just a short one. So we have the disciples, all the followers of Christ, in an upper room, in a room. There's about 120 of them, and they want to replace Judas. So they replace Judas with Matthias. And then, so one thing to pay attention, this is Acts 1. You have to pay attention to this where it says, and they prophesied, and they appointed two, and they prayed, and they gave forth their lot. So this is all talking about the people that were together. Then the day of Pentecost, so we skip over a little bit of time. This isn't instantaneously, because it says, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come, so this could have been a few days, few weeks, whatever, they were all with one accord in one place. So same group of people, I believe. Suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues, like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So when you see this term cloven tongues here, this is kind of interesting because the Jews, I should say, the nations of Israel, the Israelites, were able to eat food with the cloven hoof, but not unclean, like pigs, like swine, all that kind of stuff. Animals that chew the cud. So they were allowed to eat animals with the cloven hoof. If that makes sense. Some of them anyway. Anyways, I think this kind of goes back to the original languages back in the day, back to where just after the Tower of Babel, where people got scattered into the various nations and tongues and languages and all this stuff. So I think this is going back to then, some of the original languages. So these Galileans, because that's where all these people were from, were speaking in other ancient languages that matched up with these devout Jews that were out of every nation. Because it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem at that time devout men out of every nation under heaven. So they're from other areas outside of Israel. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude, which is the Jews, came together and were confounded, because every man heard them speak in his own language. And they're like, are these guys not Galileans? But yet we hear every man in our own tongue, our own native tongue, if you will, wherein we were born. Parthians, Medes, Elamites, dwellers in Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, which is interesting. So Minor Asia, all that stuff. And then Rome, all the way as far as Rome. They hear them speaking their ancient language. Jews, proselytes, Cretes, Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God. So it's not like they didn't understand what these 120 people were saying. These Galileans, they understood them. And some people even made fun of them, right here. Others mocking said these men are full of new wine, meaning they're basically making fun of what Jesus did when he turned water into wine. So this was probably like a slamming of the disciples because they followed Jesus. So that's why they're making fun of this. These men are full of new wine. It's not anything else. But Peter, standing up with 11, lifted up his voice, ye men of Judea, all ye that dwell in Jerusalem, be known, these are not drunken as you suppose, but it's the third hour, and he goes on and on and on. Anyways, I just thought I would share that. That's kind of interesting, the word cloven tongue used by Luke. This guy is a wordsmith. He is a doctor of words. He knows what he's doing. Every word means something in the Gospel of Luke and also the book of Acts. Thanks for watching.